one and two next. Let's see.
I think we're introducing our first speaker.
Are we?
Yeah.
Is it Steven's turn to get up here?
Yeah.
I know a little bit about Steven. I'm going to tell you guys something about him. He said, "Can you pronounce my last name?" And I kind of looked at him, right? Like, then, Cardinal?
Hey.
What is it? Van Cowenberg, exactly. Steven has a podcast, Savvy Radio. If you want to go check him out online, it's savvyradio.com. And he really, really enjoys scheduling. Yeah. And
Wow.
yeah, and systems.
You're amazing,
And
bro.
systems, for sure. So he's going to talk about that with us, and he has a passion for teaching. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Steven.
Oh, Valerie. That was, I like to schedule. All right. Anybody else like to schedule? What? You got to live on your calendar. Anyway, I'm honored to be here. I'm thankful. We need to get a little bit more energy. Can you make a really loud clap for all the people behind the scenes that got this food here, got these tables here, did all this stuff for you and for me? Can you put your hands together? I don't know. Anyway, my passion is educating, teaching, and business, and making money. I want to be clear. I like to make money. Do you like to make money? Claps again. Come on, you gotta get louder. See, we get confused about money. Money helps people. Money could be used for ministry. Money was used to build this, and hopefully that you'll have a turning point today. Something will click, and your life will change. Maybe it be systems, maybe it be accounting to get your finances legit, organized, and ready to go. But it took money to do that, okay? The next speaker after me, Rose, she's incredible. My life has changed dramatically by hiring the right accountant to get my business in place so I can do financials. I'm stoked for her to speak next, so make sure you don't leave and get to know her. Now, I love systems. Systems is everything in my mind. Oh man, it's not working. Boom, boom, boom. You could just be my super assistant. I could schedule you in. All right. Okay, let's do it. All right, the cool thing, Mr. Roger Godwin got these cool planners. What are these, agendas? Everybody get one of those out. Everybody grab a pen, because I'm going to blaze through this. I have a short amount of time, and I probably have an hour and a half full of content. There's like 36 slides. If you're real detailed, I know you'll write that down. 36 slides. So we're going to go real fast. So we're going to write a plan, and you're going to take notes, and this is going to be fun. Here we go. All right. I can't see the slide, so business systems. Creating a system saves time. There's no guesswork, freedom, seamless transition, hiring staff. There's no confusion. So if you really want to scale your business, you have to create a system. People, if you hire people, they don't want to be inconsistent. They want consistency. In your marriage, how about consistency in your marriage, right? Success is built on consistency. As Robert Elder would say, it's predictable. That's what a business system is. It's predictable. You can scale. I know exactly how many hours it takes to process this, or how long it takes to fund a deal. However you look at it, that's the way you should run your business. If you want 500 units, you can't do it haphazardly. You won't be successful. It's all based on a system. Everything I do is based on a system. All right, so at one time, it took me 10 to 15 hours to run 50 units. Most of my stuff here is related to real estate. Can I get a round, raise your hand if you're in real estate? I'm assuming a lot of people are in real estate. Okay, so my slides are more adapted to that, but you can apply this to any business. And I'm involved in other businesses. And at the end, I'm gonna go through give some time for some questions. So it doesn't have to be real estate related. It could be just, how do I run this type of business? All right, so my claim to fame was when I started, I've been speaking, I've written a couple books, and I started out with, people were always amazed, how could you have 50 houses and have only 10 hours a week? And then I got to 80 units, and then I got a little pissed off. It was real frustrating. Anybody have those problems? You just can't stress. Anyway, we won't get into it. So then I started hiring 140 full-time help. And then now I have 500 units now keep in mind, this is not to glamorize myself, just to give you perspective on how this happens. And today I have over 550 something units, and I have spent 1 hour a week on that portfolio. Most of my time is in other end ventures. But technology, forms, and VAs, and ultimately systems and leverage. So I would write, the first word that I would write down is leverage. How could I leverage more things? You could leverage people, and it's not negative leverage people. There's an army of people out there that need a job that would love to answer the phone for you. But how do they answer the phone if they don't have a system to follow? Because just in case that person gets hit by a tornado in Oklahoma or a hurricane in Florida, and you're going to have to hire that person again, maybe your VA. So this is what a system does. It's sustainable order. It's maximum effort. So when everybody is on the same page, does anybody train anybody here today? Right? And when you lose that staff person, you have to start all over again? No. My new goal in the endeavor, that business that I'm in right now, I was talking to my awesome partner, and I was like, listen, when we hire someone to replace me, I don't want to train that person. Because if I train that person, then it's not consistent, because I may have a bad day that day. But if we have videos, policies and procedures, if we follow a system that trains that person, then I can be completely removed from that process. That's what a system does. Okay, so what I'm trying to do right here is to get your mind wrapped around how important it is a system, because you may think of a system one way, but we're not adapting it to another way. All right, so and here's one thing about systems you got to realize is it's constantly changing. If you are a typical male like myself, you don't like the change, and it gets frustrating. You just have to drop your pride, and you're going to have to just continue to work on it. The systems that I wrote 10 years ago, I'm still modifying today. But which is really cool, my very first system that I wrote was in 1992. Isn't that crazy? That tells you how old I am. If you're curious, how old do you think I am? 49. I just turned 49. Anyway, but that system that I wrote in 1992, which was like when a customer calls in, we mail a postcard, and then we mail them a a packet, which was at that time we would do KPIs, and it would be $3 per packet to be mailed out. Well, that same system, that same drip campaign that I do in 1992 to build my business back then is the same system that I do today, but it's electronic. It's a PDF, it's emails. So you constantly have to change your systems. So I have a system for my finances, quarterly reports, monthly reports, financial statements. I review them, okay? Everybody cool on that stuff? Any questions so far? No questions? Is everybody motivated to do a system? Yeah! There you go. That's my one fan. All right. All right, first of all, first of all, when you sit down and really create a system, you got to be in the right mindset. Go stand up, shake yourself. I like Tony Robbins. He's like, put your hands up, clap your hands, dance around. I don't know, shake your body, do whatever it takes. Maybe we should do that right now. Everybody stand up. Come on, stand up. We're going to get in the mindset. All right, everybody put your hands above your head and clap. All right. All right, stop. Simon says stop. All right. Say, I could do this. I'm successful. All right, sit down. So everybody's already successful, and you could do this. Now, I'm going to say something weird. Okay, we'll keep on rolling. All right, so you gotta love the process, and it's got to take time. You can't beat yourself up. Okay, you gotta. I'm telling you, you'll write a system, and you may have to scrap it. You may have to throw it away, but you're gonna have to enjoy the process. You're gonna have to think of your why and what's gonna happen when it's done. See, this new business I'm in, or this business I'm in, and if I train this person and then they don't work out, guess who has to come back into it? Me. But if I really spend a lot of time on the process and create this business, system. So this is the process when they walk in. This is our HR department. This is how we do it. I can step out, and if that person disappears, we could do it over and over again, and we could scale multiple offices. All right, save yourself time and energy. It's always about system. I'm telling you, the systems that I have in place, it gives me the freedom that I need. You got to remember why you're doing this system. You got to remember what an entrepreneur is. Pretty much everybody in this room is an entrepreneur. This is a podcast I'm going to do pretty soon about what I've just recently learned about different levels of entrepreneurs. We're about to make money. We want to build wealth, shelter our money. What else do we want to do? Leverage, depreciation. But what's your why? My why is freedom. My why is I like to challenge, see if I could do it without me. I want to get crazy, see how much revenue I could make that I'm not even involved. Can I not show up? I learned this from Rich Dad Poor Dad. He's like, you're successful when you can leave your business for 1 year and you come back and it made more money with you being there. That's my goal. And that's based on freedom. What's your goal? What's your why? Why are you doing this? Don't lose perspective. This is going to be hard. This is going to be challenging. I'm making it so glamorous and so easy. It is gut-wrenching, hard labor. Sit down. Your bottom's going to get hurt, and you're going to have to think outside the box. You're going to have to think, what is this person going to receive when they come in? And we're just creating more systems all the time. Like now we have a new system in one of our businesses where we have a 30-day checkup call, a 30-day lunch. And then we ask these series of questions, point-blank questions. Do you like working here? What do you like about your job? What do you love about your job? What do you hate to do? What do you don't like to do? Now, do you think they're going to be honest on 30 days? Maybe. So then we figure it out. We have to do a 60-day. And I'm not talking about just calling somebody up, hey, you like your job? No, getting in their face, really talking to them, and really getting authentic about the job that they're doing, the company that we are. You got to figure out what's your why. That produces freedom. When I go into this system, now I follow the system. It's on my calendar, 30 days. Go meet this guy. Sit down and have lunch with him. I'm like, man, but the system works. After I get it going, after 1 year, that employee becomes 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, and it's more and more freedom for me. All right, so here's some of my experience. I've been self-managing my properties for 20-some years. I was a property manager for about 1 year. Don't ever be a property manager. It's the worst job on the planet. Sorry, Mr. Cross, Baby Cross, Solo Cross, whatever your name is. Then I started outsourcing to an assistant for 2 years. It was kind of frustrating. Anyway, I don't know why I put that slide up there. This is the book you need. Anybody read this book before? Who, Not, How? Man, I don't even remember why I put VRBO. I think I don't know. Let's move on. All right. So you're struggling. You're like, you got a ton of phone calls. You don't know how to handle it. This is my daily conversation with some real estate investor out there. And I just talked to a dude in Philly. He's like, I got 12 units. I hate real estate. I'm not making money. I was like, you're dumb. You're wrong. You're making money, you just don't know how to figure it out. You're making this thing called depreciation, but you can do this by letting go. But see, that's the problem with people in systems. They don't want to let go. They want to be in control. That's an entrepreneur devil. You've got to learn to make mistakes, and you've got to let go. And so the first thing that I would practice is what I call the Hamilton effect. How much time do we have? I don't want to get into super stories. 13 minutes. Is he right? 23 minutes. All right. So I was at the office one day, and this gal, her car broke down, and she could not afford a new vehicle. And at that time, it was $250 for a new used vehicle payment for her. So her name is Linda Hamilton. She still lives here in Oklahoma City, and I believe my success is based on her. I said, hey, let's work out a deal. I'll give you $250 a month for your car, and you carry my little cell phone of my little properties. And maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can go show these properties. She started crying. I started crying. 1, I'm free. I don't have to answer the freaking phone no more. 2, I'm blessing this gal. 3, I had to write a system. And this is the system. So, All right. We'll move on to the next slide. So here's the system. So you have to write out what their duties are. What do you want them to do? Well, I want you to, I can't read this stuff and I don't have a computer, sorry. But I did write it though. Don't worry. Basically what I said was, I would like for you to answer the phone. You don't have to just take a message. If there's something that you can't answer, she has no education about real estate. No problem. Ask me all the questions. Every time she asked me a question, I wrote it down and I put it in a little book. Then she carried this little book around. Well, what happens when I give you my deposit? She flips to the deposit. This is your deposit. How do I get my deposit back? Flip to deposit. When can I move out? How long? All these questions that she would ask me, because these are the questions that the prospective tenant would ask me, we would put it in a book. Now we've created a system, okay? And that was my first time to leverage someone else. I was able to bless somebody else, and I didn't have to deal with psycho tenants anymore. It was awesome. So everybody put your hands together. Does anybody have any psycho tenants? Now, this only costs $250, and you get to bless somebody. But it all boiled down to having a system. So you have to make a 3-ring binder, each page. So each house, it was kind of exciting. Every time I bought a new asset, I get to put it in the book. Then inside there, I had to make a flyer. And so every time I purchased a property, I already had a system. New locks, new flyer, make a video. All these things that I would do in my system, checklist. I love checklists. And then I would, and there's no perfect checklist. You just make a checklist, and then I would just add it in. And then I gave her a little caddy, and I was like, look, now I do everything by video. But back then, this is a long time ago, but I was like, instructor, just go in, turn on all the lights, go back into your car, sit there, don't, any questions, have them call the office, and that's how we moved on. All right, checklist. If you're managing a manager, this is critical. This is kind of the question I get a lot. How do I manage a manager? Checklist, daily. What's your expectations? What do you want them to do? What's their duties? Successful people want to know what the expectations are. If you just say, go take care of it, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You can't do that. You have to be very clear and concise. This is what I want done. This is how I want it done. But then you have to let go. If the job gets done, that's great. They may not do it your way, but what's the point? What's my why? Freedom. All right, so here's just a basic system of a phone system. Now, some of these slides are kind of antiquated, so bear with me. But I had an answering service. So the phone was the biggest chain and ball in my mind. It's just tenants calling up, hey, how much is the house for rent? Did you see it on the internet? The price is right there, but they got to call in and say, how much is it for rent? Has anybody ever had that problem? You just want to shoot yourself. Seriously. I'm like, what is wrong with people? You saw it on the internet. You saw the phone number. How'd you call me? The price is on there. So that's the number one question they ask. So you can, for $100 a month, you can hire an answering service. Now, you have to create a system for the answering service, what to say it, how to respond. That's a system. Google Voice, separate mobile phone, text messages, canned responses. So these are kind of the elements that we're going to get into. Oh, I never answered the phone. So first thing you do is I communicate to my tenant, hey, this is my expectation. I really don't even want to talk to you, no offense, but but if you do decide you feel like you have to call your property manager, here's the process: text or email. This is our system on how we communicate to the tenant. Now, there's a motive behind here. Can anybody guess what that motive is? Huh? Paper trail. Documentation, absolutely, okay? But at the bottom, worst case scenario, if you don't hear from us and you think we died, then call us. So we get to this point where text message, because we can respond quicker, okay? So this is a system that I'm educating my tenant on. This is a system that we run in the business. So there's two systems. So you have to educate your customer or educate your prospective salesperson, whatever the case may be. All right, so here's the system. So the system is they call in. Now, we have the phone answered at certain times. We have it forwarded to an answering service. Then the message gets transcribed. We prefer not to speak on the phone. We get the transcription, and then we deploy the right people to the right place, and I never touch the process. So this is all running without me. So then we respond. We always respond. We call it the 3-step slap at the office. We email, text, and then if I have a staff member that's their job is to call, we call back. We don't want any confusion. We don't want any missteps. We're always assuming that we're going to go to court one day, and we want to be responsible and do our part. And when you go to court and you stand in front of a judge, who they're going to slide with, so we're not going to take any chances. And then with that business mind, I have evidence. I explain to the tenant why. Don't call here ever again. Only text or email. I'm just playing. I'm a little burned up about landlords. Thank God I'm not a landlord. Well, I guess I still am a landlord. All right. Is this all valuable? Okay. I don't know if you hate me by now because I'm 5 minutes. Is she serious? Are you serious? Or are you just like saying hi? 8 minutes. All right. So we'll speed through this. Okay, so here's the same thing. Here's my eviction process. Now, again, expectations for you. If you're my client, if I'm going to coach you, these are my expectations. I expect you to do this. I expect you to show up. I expect you to make these calls, blah, blah, blah. This is my tenant. This is what's going to happen if you get evicted if you don't pay your rent. So we're all clear. If you don't pay your rent, I'm sorry. Chase Manhattan Bank, they don't play around. They're going to default on me. So this is the process. So we print out the cover sheet. This is what my staff follows. The first thing you do is that you do a 5-day notice. You send them a cutoff notice. 3, you file it. You do a summons and a petition. You mail a copy to them. You get it to the process server. You send them a judgment notice. We go to court. This is the judgment filed. We call the sheriff. And that's how it works. This is the internal document checklist for the property manager to follow that so it coincides with the process. Tenant knows what's going down. This is you're going to go to jail. You're going to die if you don't pay your rent. This is what's going to happen. It's real clear on the bottom. This is how much it's going to cost you. This is our process. When we're processing that person, they're in eviction status. And we have a whole process when we say you're in eviction process. And then it moves on. And then this is the process in our office. Did you do the 5-day notice? Did you receive from the process server? All right, we're moving on. All right, this is really exactly step by step on how the property manager should fill out these forms. Okay? So, and then these are all linked to Google Drive documents. So they click on this, it opens up the summons, it opens up the eviction notice, opens up the 5-day notice. And now I do it all in Google Slides, so it's a little more visual. They click the little button, it pulls it up. So first thing you got to do is you got to fill out the 5-day notice. You got to print out 4 copies. You got to hand deliver 2. You got to post 1. So anyone can follow this system, correct? I mean, it's pretty simple. That's what a system does. Then you assemble the mailing. Make sure you certified mail. Did you get the barcode? Did you go to certifiedmailinglabels.com? Then there's a process. There's the login. This is how you log in to the website. Then you hand deliver. All right, so this is how you create a system. You got to write down your ideas. What are the things I don't like? What I don't want to go to eviction court anymore. So this is the process. So Valerie, I got 5 minutes of questions, or am I done in 5? Okay, cool. All right. Sorry, I don't have a clock. I'm struggling. I only schedule stuff. So sequence and order, my staff. All right. So here's another system, same process. All right, I think you guys can do it. And this is a checklist, the property manager. Checklists are awesome. I mean, we're still running this system. This I don't know, is that 10 years ago? We're still running the exact same system. We just have cooler software now that does a lot of automation for us. Anybody into automation? Yeah, automatic text messages. Like I talked to my property manager right when I got before I left here. Hey, it's going to freeze. I'm already on it. I already got the text messages already rolling. Okay, how about the 2 houses that are vacant right now? I already got those on log 2. Okay, that's a system that we have in place. All right, take inventory, analyze, create the process, break down each step. This is, I believe, the hardest part, because when you first go through it, you got it, but then you got to test it. Like I do a lot of sales right now. And it's like one thing works, but this doesn't work. And this only works for this part of the country. This may not work on this part of the country. It may be this time of year. It may be tax season and they're broke. So we just continue to refine that system. I also ask people to look at it. What do you think? We try to automate as much as possible. If we can auto text, auto send, auto populate, when we use Google Forms a lot, that goes into spreadsheets, it goes into a VA, all right, and then track and test, and then go over and over again. Pretty simple. Everybody take a picture of that slide. So that's exactly how you do it, all right? Now you just have to go do it. Pretty simple. Sounds simple. Remember, keep the perspective. Workflow chart. I'm going to show you a workflow chart here in a second. Sequence and order. I said this, I'm saying this stuff twice just so you just do it. This is a good workflow process. All right. What do you think? It's pretty good? I'm a little rusty up here. Any questions? Yeah. See, it takes a young millennial to slap me. Young millennials. What's the question? There is no question. He was just beating me up. Any questions on systems, business systems? Yes. Hello. You have a side business? Massage. Oh. Yeah. So it's a great question. She's asking, what's the best way kind of to run my business? The number one thing I do for any endeavor I do, it must have software that runs the business. So for you property managers out there or investors, you have Buildium, Appfolio, or some nucleus of a software. I would Google up massage person management software that has a CRM involved. So it's one nucleus that it holds your whole business together. Does your accounts receivable, payable? I mean, maybe that, but mostly your scheduling, automations, and all that jazz. So the first thing you should do is get a software that you can log in, that you can track your customers, you can track your appointments, your revenue, all that stuff. All right, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm really, really good at setting up systems. I'm really bad at being consistent on executing systems.
Yeah, so step to the side and hire someone that's going to execute. There's people that don't start. I'm a starter, but I'm not a finisher. I can start businesses all day and they all fail. So they're all good ideas and we're all going to be rich, but they all suck because I don't finish them. So I have learned to only work with finishers from forward. I'm the creative guy or the starter, but I have some really good friends in my life right now. They are finishers, and that's the people I want to hang out with. Who's going to finish for me? I'm a starter, and these people that I'm working with, they're not starters. They're too scared. They don't have the capital. I have the capital, and I'm not scared. What's the worst thing that can happen? Anyway. Anyone else?
I could talk about this all day.
All right, thank you.
Hey.
It was nice to meet you.
Yes, you too, Stephen. Couple of things I got. Systems don't fail. People do, right? Thank you for sharing your time today with us. Appreciate it. Connect with him afterwards. Big round of applause for Stephen.